Greetings and welcome to Flesh Wound True Crime. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening.
So, how are you doing tonight, producer Todd?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? Excited to talk about both of our features and our return of true crime. This is a bit different.
Yeah, we haven't done any since Bald. You were telling me,
which was another movie review and true crime combination, which is actually tonight's format also, because we're going to talk the film before we really get into it, because got to give the film a chance on its own, just like we did with Bald.
Yeah, I'm going to try and review the movie just as the movie without delving into the true crime aspect of it. But we will when we get into our documentary. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think. But yeah, Todd, before we get into it, did you think this was ever going to see the light of day?
I mean, when they announced they were finishing it, yeah. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
before that, like at beginning, if there's a way there it was going to happen, I didn't think it. I mean, come on, we got Twilight Zone the movie.
That is true. There is precedent. So, but yeah. I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. I think it should be a fascinating discussion. But with that being said, let's get right into it with our review of the long-awaited Rust from director Joel Souza. And in this film, an orphan boy of 13 left to fend for himself and his younger brother in 1880s Wyoming is sentenced to hang for the accidental killing of a local rancher. His estranged grandfather breaks him out of jail, and they go on a run to Mexico to save his life. All right. So Rust. I'm happy to report this isn't like kind of what I was worried it would be. It's not a cheap throwaway film.
I think it's actually a really solid Western, and I'm not a huge Western guy.
It is better than solid Western. I agree. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I was like, okay, we're I get why they wanted to finish. I'll just leave it at that for now for that part.
Yeah. So I know this is one that Alec Baldwin and the director-writer Joel Souza had been trying to get to make for 3 years, I believe. This had a bit of a passion project that they were trying to get off the ground, an homage to the spaghetti westerns of the past. And there was more to it than I expected. I really was not sure if this was just going to be a very generic, cheap direct to VOD movie, which Alec Baldwin has done this. Alec Baldwin is kind of started to do a lot of these where he gets the producer credit which we'll get into because the in-name only thing will factor into our review of the documentary. But this was something that he was very passionate about, and I'm happy to report it is quite good. Now, you have to really enjoy Westerns, I feel like, because
I disagree with that because I'm not a big Western guy.
I did 2 hours and 19 minutes. That's what I was building to.
Okay. Well,
long run.
If it's good, I can deal with the long run time. Yes. Would I have preferred it shorter, like everything? Yes. But I'm not a Western guy, and I was able to get into it at 2 hours and 20 minutes almost.
Yeah.
I'm a Young Guns guy, so my that's a Western to me. So
more upbeat Westerns you like. Yeah. I was into it as well. I mean, number one, it's a beautiful looking movie.
Yeah,
which is tragic because I do think Helena had a lot of talent and probably would have moved on to even bigger things. But yeah, no, it's a very striking Western. I wasn't too sure about Alec Baldwin in this role, the old gunslinger. He's not the first person that comes to mind, but Alec Baldwin's a fantastic actor. I mean, Glenn Ross. I mean, he can certainly act. I
It's like the
don't think,
one thing he hadn't done it to this point too.
yeah, he really wanted to do a Western.
Yeah, I
And
think they offered him the he kind of offered him two projects, and right when he heard Western, he was like, "That's
yeah, it
you
was an
know,
immediate yes. Like, just, yeah, I'm in. And I don't think he's the highlight. He is good, but I would actually say Travis Fimmel from Vikings is the villain. Fenton Preacher Lang. I thought he was great.
good.
And maybe the real show stealer is Josh Hopkins is Wood. I
Yeah,
thought he kind of has his own arc because he's got a sick kid, so he's a little conflicted, hunting down this young boy who is certainly didn't commit murder and doesn't deserve to hang.
right.
Um, and obviously, we get a little bit of bonding back and forth with Alec Baldwin and his grandson. We learn a little about their history and everything. It's not like a heavy action based western. There's some solid shootouts at the end, and a lot of it really is kind of a yeah, just kind of like just them bonding and trying to make it to New Mexico for this new life. Um, and I really, really, really dug Travis Fimmel. Why he's not a bigger star, I don't understand. He's an excellent villain. He can play anything, but as of now, still not a huge star outside of TV. We get Frances Fisher in here. She's always great, and she's a big part of the doc, which we'll get into. Jake Busey, Xander Berkeley.
Yeah.
There's a really good supporting cast in this one, and it feels like a theatrical movie.
Well, it is in theaters right now. We should say that also.
Yes,
Also
yes,
on VOD. So
yeah,
yeah, I don't know if this is the movie to really showcase like it to advance anyone's career, unfortunately. Even though the film's great.
yeah,
Yeah, because I was thinking if there was no tragedy like with this, I could see this like considered for awards and stuff. I think that the performances are that strong, but I don't think it'll ever happen now. I
no,
mean,
no, it won't. It won't.
which is a shame, but
It is, and I don't think it would go to Alec Baldwin. Again, not shitting on his performance because he was very good, but
see, I thought he was great, but I get what you're saying with some of the other ones. Like this was something different for him. It was, I really liked him in the role, but I get what you're saying. There's some standouts that are above.
yeah,
So
yeah. Xander Berkeley, not a big role, but I mean, he always plays a fantastic scumbag. I mean, Candyman and his run on Walking Dead not too long ago. He's great. It's a bit of a tearjerker too. I think as we get towards the end, I think it's a damn fine little western. I was surprised. I really was. I figured I was like, man, is this going to be? This would be so depressing if this was just a cheap piece of shit throwaway movie. And I was glad. I was glad that her work really shined.
yeah,
I don't know how much of this was maybe juiced up a little bit because of the tragedy and they really like hunkered down to make sure. I'm sure everybody was motivated. Her actual like really good friend finished the shoot based on her notes and
yeah.
everything, which we will get into the doc because wow. Yeah, I would say this is worth going out of your way to watch, unless you just hate the genre. And I don't think you hate the genre. It's just it is long.
No, yeah, and for me, like I'm not a big Western guy, but this like worked like
Yeah,
100%. I really did enjoy it, but I was also expecting something like I don't want to say worth it, but I mean I think they honored Helena's memory completing it.
yeah, yeah,
And we'll get more in depth, but
yeah. No, I am curious to see how people react to this. Ironically, I have avoided anybody's opinion, so I don't know. I don't know what people are saying about this movie yet. I hope. That's why we tried hard here not to delve too much into the incident, because I hope people can judge this film based on the film, because I think, quite frankly, she deserves that.
Yeah.
Whatever feelings you have about the case, hopefully you can see her work here. And
I'm really glad I was able to watch Rust before I even knew about the documentary, because I only found out about it because after watching the films, I really liked it. I wanted to look up what else Halyna had shot and done, and then I found out about Last Take right then. And that's when I messaged you, and we kind of switched things up, and here we are.
yeah. So I don't know if it's gonna stand the test of time among some of our favorite westerns. I mean, I know the inspiration was spaghetti western, but this is not Django or anything.
No.
So, like I said, it's the action bits that are there are pretty good, but it's not an action based western, and you should keep that in mind. So, Todd, what do you rate it? And then I think we'll get into our much longer discussion of the documentary.
I don't know if this is high, but I really did enjoy it. And as a film, I'm a 4.
I think I got to give it a 4 too. I mean, I really don't have any complaints other than the runtime to a certain degree. I think they could have trimmed back, but
and with that, I kind of give it a pass because a lot of westerns have some hefty runtime, so it didn't I was okay with it going in. It really helped that the film was a really excellent film, though.
Yeah, but Josh Hopkins is Marshall Wood. I think was just fantastic in this, and Travis Fimmel. It's a scary son of a bitch, actually. Like, he does a lot without doing a whole lot physically, and he is a highlight in this. And also kudos to the young actor Patrick Scott McDermott, who plays Lucas. I like the way this one ended. I like it tugs at the heartstrings. It's a good time.
Yeah.
All right, so Tad, we will get into the documentary next, which is currently streaming on Hulu. Last Take, Rust, and the Story of Halyna. Now, this documentary is, I think, fantastic. We see a lot that at least I never saw during the trial. We all saw like that photo of like Alec Baldwin kind of hunched over, upset,
Yeah.
But
on the phone,
this takes us into his police interview.
His reaction, like, oh my god, like this was a roller coaster. Like, it was emotionally, I was all over the place because I mean, to really just wrap your head around like someone getting shot in the middle of making a movie, I mean, that shouldn't happen. I mean, it's
the horror of that.
And it's not the same as Brandon Lee. It's a live round, 100% bullet.
Yes,
not something lodged in. It was fucking
it was just a live fucking slug that went through two people and unfortunately took out Halyna. But it goes kind of behind the scenes, the October 2021 shoot when it happened. We see the police body cam, which shows you everything. They're filling Alec Baldwin in on the injuries, what's going on. At this point, he doesn't know anybody's dead. This just covers every bit that is known. It debunks some stuff. It really does a great job. I didn't feel like this doc was tilted to make somebody look bad.
At first, I kind of thought we were going that way because I was like, all those people that walked off said it's kind of like your fault, fuckers. And then as we get more of the story, it kind of, you get more of the picture. But at first, that did kind of come off as like, are we presenting this as this is the but it's
we should say you're talking about the camera crew walking off
set
because of which they go into that some of the set incidents, I would
But
still,
we don't start off with that. We just get they walked off. All
yeah.
these things so the way I was kind of like, okay, are we kind of throwing it all on them? But it doesn't really throw it on it because it's really just a series of unfortunate events that led to the tragedy, in my opinion.
You could maybe argue, I mean, looking at this, does it make Alec Baldwin a little more sympathetic? Maybe. I don't know that it really necessarily makes the Hannah armorer chick more sympathetic. I did feel bad for her dad, but
I felt bad for her too. I mean, but there's a lot of things that are going on. Like, well, the producers are more concerned with do your other job and not, you know, being overwhelmed and a young, like, she shouldn't have been doing
she
anything.
shouldn't have had the job. I don't think there's
no. See, I can't even say that. I can say she shouldn't have had that second job and just focused on the one. Because if she was able to do everything she was supposed to do, this could have been avoided. But because she was being pulled to do the other stuff, the other prop stuff and all that, she wasn't able to be a full-on every moment of her time. She was being the armorer and taking care of all that. So, I mean, that's why I said series of events. Like, I mean, if she was just making sure all the gun stuff was taken care of, doing all and not having to do that secondary job that they were more concerned about than the actual one they should have been concerned about, then maybe everything would have been fine. Maybe
I think you can argue a more experienced, older
well,
person
obviously
could balance all of that.
Well, no, an older experienced person would have been like, no, this is more important. They would have been able to articulate and not been pushed around on a break for them. So, like, if her dad was doing it, he would be like, no, fuck all that. This is what's important.
Yeah.
Lives are at stake. And for a young girl, I don't know if they're that able to, the younger generation is able to just like put, I don't want to put it down, just like tell it how it is.
There's, when it comes to safety, sometimes you have to tell somebody to go fuck themselves.
And yes, she should have done it. And that's why I'm kind of, it's more than just her inexperience. It was her doing two jobs. There's a lot going into this thing. Like, I don't think one person has the blame.
Now,
but I do not think Alec Baldwin has any of the blame.
We'll get into that. But
no, that's my statement now, and I've said that for a while.
I think
they didn't sway me on that.
I do think, like, her initial reaction does not make her look good. She does come off a little bit bothered in the interviews. Well, Baldwin, I don't think he was acting. I think Baldwin was genuinely mortified.
Yeah, when they told her that I was like, oh, this is heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's any way you look at it, you pull the trigger and somebody died.
Yeah, like I mean, that's
heavy. Whether you think that it's not your fault, like, it's still, that's a heavy fucking thing to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's probably a million questions that were flooding through his brain in that, in that moment. And that's really remarkable, just seeing all of that from the first interviews to, I don't think he thought like she was as hurt as she was. And I'm sure, I don't know really, I can't remember if they say in the doc if he like rushed up to them, if I mean, I'm sure things just started happening really fast at that point. So,
well, yeah, I mean, like, it's, and you hear the different people's reaction, like, who squibbed her? I mean, that's like, wow, why would we scrib the camera? There's just so much shit in here to process.
Yeah, the footage. See, the one issue is like that Hannah girl did seem annoyed. Like, she seemed really kind of bothered and annoyed that.
Here's the thing, like, I'm people react to things differently, so I
get that. I get
so
that.
I do understand that it wasn't a good look, and she does just kind of, but that also just kind of seems like her personality too. She's a little, I don't want to say monotone, but just kind of a little blah all the time, from like throughout the whole thing, that's how she is. So I think that's just her personality, but that's not a good way to get sympathy.
You could see Alec Baldwin when they're interviewing him before they take him to the police station, like, Hannah kind of comes up and he has this look. Like, I think he's like, yeah, that dumb fuck kind
Yeah.
of deal. And Francis Fisher, I think, had that same,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that dumb fuck without saying it. I think like this is a case too where, look, the armorer, when it comes to that, is God. They answer to nobody. If they're not good with the situation, it stops. They are God on that set when it comes to the ammunition. This movie does not explain the live rounds that were just found on set.
That,
Is
you know,
wild.
and I don't want to
The
get
whole
into
thing.
conspiracies. I have some, but I'm not going to throw them out because I think that's disrespectful to
Well, if you've
Helena.
got theories, you can throw them out. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
you know,
There was a disgruntled crew. I'll just say that did.
that's awful heavy though for like a
That's what I'm saying. I
yeah.
said there's theories, but I don't want, and that's why I don't want to throw anything out. I mean,
Yeah, I think I don't know if anything was quite to that.
in all honesty, most likely somehow some live rounds got mixed in the box, and that's what they find. 6 rounds.
But there's still an explanation. It was either 5 or 6. Like
I think
live
it's
rounds.
5 plus the one in the chamber.
They said that they did not find proof that there was target practice going on. I don't know though if that's 100% or somebody was, and they weren't able to prove it totally, because that was always the big story that was out there, that they were using live rounds for target practice in between.
Well, there was so much information out there that wasn't right. I mean, so I don't know. I don't want to, like I said, I don't feel right speculating on some of that, but if yeah, they should have known better. I mean, and yeah. Yeah.
We do delve into, like, again, the first camera assistant who quit due to the lack of gun safety, which obviously is damning, and felt that somebody was going to get hurt. Another thing.
Well, here's the one thing.
Incidents of misfires.
Yes.
Guns that went off that weren't supposed to. There were incidents on this set, and I really wish they had got him. It makes sense that he wouldn't come in for this, but there was that incident with Hannah and Nick Cage where he screamed at her on the set of another movie.
He could get Baldwin. They're not getting Nick Cage.
There should be, like, I mean, 24 is an adult, and I'm not saying no 24-year-old could do it, but you do look at her and hear some of the stories on set where it's like, this person is not experienced and should not be in this role.
Right. But she got the pass because who her father was. Her famous.
Yes. Yeah.
But even with that though, like, she expected to get fired, but no one ever talked to her. There was nothing done with the misfires.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so that's why it's like, it's hard to throw it all on her. I mean, when it comes down to it, the buck stops with her. That was her job and she failed at it.
Yeah.
But it's more than just blaming. There's more. There's a failure, and I get why they brought in OSHA on this one, which is weird for a movie set. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on here. It's not like Twilight Zone the movie where it's cut and dry. Fucking Landis was going overboard and shouldn't have got the chopper that close. That was easy. One person at fault on that. This, while there is the one whose job title, there was other people in the production that should have had a little bit more, traumas. Number one rule of filmmaking: safety to humans, and they failed on that.
Lloyd Kaufman is very famous for that. Like, you would think lower budget movies, but he was always like, do it safe,
But see, this is a low budget Hollywood movie, which is different because they're still worried about that the money, the bottom line. Not that Lloyd's not, but I mean, it's a bigger, lower budget, so it's even more high stress. Because
absolutely. I mean, it's still an Alec Baldwin movie, and you might think like, well, Alec Baldwin's not what he used to be, but Alec Baldwin's still a pretty big name. And Travis Fimmel not too long ago was on a wildly popular TV series. Like, this is there is a little more stress, and she shouldn't have been in that role. Do I feel bad for Helena? Not really. I mean, she got 18 months. I do think there's some responsibility there, that and some unanswered questions with that live ammo that I guess we're never going to find out. But I guess the real punishment is she's always going to be associated as the dumbass on the Rust set. And I mean,
well, yeah, her armor career is done.
yeah, definitely. But it's an interesting doc. I mean, it doesn't like rip anybody apart. The only thing with Alec Baldwin where it gets weird, and I'm no gun expert, so I'm not going to pretend to be, but I know enough that you're supposed. See, that's the thing. That's the question. Like, he wouldn't have had to pull the trigger, and they say he did. Now, how much of that is on him? Do I think Alec Baldwin personally deserved prison time? No.
No, because okay, and I'll tell you why. No matter what the answer was, he could have been screwing around, whatever. Here's the reason why it's not. He is given this, even though it's a deadly weapon. He is given this by the person who has made it safe. So to him, he's being handed a movie prop.
Yeah.
How is that anything like?
It's just that, again, I think we're more moral versus legal. Like, you probably should check it. Now, they go over this. It's 3 people. The assistant director who admitted that he's very candid about what he did wrong because he didn't check.
Yeah.
And he should have.
But they also, the producers were like, okay, that's enough of the training. They don't need to, the armor wanted to do more finish the gun training, but they didn't. So Alec Baldwin didn't get the training ahead of time. Although I'm sure he's used other guns in other movies, but it's also, they check it for him, hand it to him. There you go. You're good to go.
I think I don't think there's any crime. I do think he's legally responsible because he's a producer. You can say a name. I don't think that carries any weight in a lawsuit. I just don't. I think somebody's like, you're the producer, whether or not
he's one of the producers.
One of the producers, yes, who have all been sued.
Yes, him too.
And I think he is.
I get it. So he has a bit more because he's a producer, even only being in name only. But,
well, you say in name only, but this was also a passion project. I don't think Alec Baldwin was looking at the nuts and bolts of the camera crew is upset or any of that.
No, he was. It's it's a Hollywood thing, so it is what it is.
It is, and a lot of people do this, and producer can mean everything or nothing. It's a weird thing. It can mean jack shit, or it's just a way for a low budget movie for Alec Baldwin to actually get paid.
Putting it on him, I get being a producer makes it a little different. Here's the thing. The question's been, did he pull the trigger? Did he not? They've already had 2 misfires. That was the 3rd misfire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And accidental discharges were the other misfires. I mean, so which gun was it that misfired? We don't even know. You know what I mean? Was it multiple ones having misfires because they weren't being properly cleaned, because they were having the armor do other? What was the other position? I can't even remember the title right now.
Prop assistant.
Yeah, so she was dealing with getting all and they were more concerned with her getting that work done than I think they just expected her to load him and hand him to the actors. That's what they thought an armor did, because that seems like all they wanted her to do.
Yeah, it's again 6 bullets, by the way, were found on set. Okay. 6 live rounds.
6 found. Is that including the one that was in the chamber? Or is that a 6 additional?
No, I think these are 6 that were found.
Additional.
Just the cop.
But here's the thing. How many other ones were discharged that we don't know about? Because if they're shooting a scene out in the desert, there could have been another fucking dozen they got lucky on. Who knows? That
is all very true. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't think they would find that. The dummy rounds wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, it would just be out there in the
But
void.
if it was simple as looking, what these are silver, these are gold. I mean,
Mm.
but you just don't expect a live round to be on a film set. Like that's the thing.
No, and it's not like this has happened often. Like this is not. There's a lot of movies made. There's movies with insane amounts of gunfire. Go watch some of the Cannon movies. And
Yeah, and I know JG brought some other stuff. We'll talk about some other famous tragedies when we're towards the end of the show, I think.
Oh yeah. But yeah, they did say Alec Baldwin was not required to cock the gun or pull the trigger. But oh, and there's that rule, like you never point a gun at anybody, even if for a fact it's not loaded. That's the way I was always taught. Like you don't do that.
Well, here's the question. If he wasn't supposed to cock or do anything, why did they put any bullets in it?
Well, just for the pop, I mean.
But no. For that scene, why were there bullets in the gun if they weren't shooting blanks?
I don't know specifically right when.
No, because that was in a scene inside. There was you're also taught to never point the gun at another person. But
yeah,
not Hannah. Hannah's the armor. Helena was the one who told him where to point the gun for the shot. Who we haven't mentioned shouldn't have been where she was. She should have been, if those people and this is why I kind of blame them too. If if those people hadn't quit, she wouldn't have been there. She would have been out watching the monitor. And the cameras.
You can't. I mean, that's a fucked up result, but you can't really blame people for walking out when there were these accidents that they didn't think.
But it's funny, and they kind of didn't play it up as much. The reason I had always heard they walked out, and he does get mentioned, but it was the COVID violations they were bitching about.
Yeah,
that's what it was. And I think now they're kind of playing up the other part. I think they were more concerned about catching COVID than they were about.
Yeah, it was 2021, so
it was, and I think that kind of got flipped by the time this documentary happened. They're concerned.
Yeah, but I mean, Dave, the assistant director, I believe, was he did say he should have inspected the gun more thoroughly. He was very, refreshingly candid about it.
Yeah, it was nice to see him own up. I mean, it was part of his responsibility. It was his shortcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean,
yeah, you could tell Frances Fisher did not like Hannah. That was one thing.
Well, to be fair, she was an old white lady and saw a purple-haired girl in there. She wasn't going to be her buddy anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm just talking shit.
This might be prejudice to a degree, but yeah, you look at Hannah and it's that's the armorer. I mean, that might be totally unfair, but yeah, I mean, I think everybody's thinking the same thing.
Well, she said she literally walks up with arms full of guns. I mean,
yeah, it was very they were talking their scene or whatever, and she just kind of interrupted, and it was very
just carrying the guns around.
Yeah,
I don't know. She is at fault, but I don't put all the blame on her. It's just it was a culture of failure that led to this event.
It was, and they go over some of the paparazzi stuff with Baldwin, and
I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, and what he was calling it, say her fucking name.
Oh yeah, they didn't know. The one didn't know her name. That was pretty rough. Yeah. But yeah, it's a sad one. I mean, you do learn a little bit about her life. There's hiking footage with their kids, which is just awful to watch. They go to Kyiv, Ukraine. Oh my God. And I hope the mother's doing okay now, and interview her there. And it's it's a very emotional doc, and it's interesting because again, they caught all of this. You can see everything. Um, I don't know. Does this change anything in particular? I guess in some ways, no, because you still have those lingering questions like how the fuck were there 6 live rounds? Because my mind cannot process how that happened. I cannot process how there's live bullets on a fucking movie set.
That's why I said this was like it should not happen on any movie, but an American film set. There's no reason.
Yeah.
In 2021, was it 1 or 2? I forget. 21.
October 2021 at this point. I can't remember
that anything like this should have ever happened. And I'm gonna ask the question, and we'll see where we are later when we wrap it up, because I don't know if you know where I'm gonna go, but
I have a question for that. Like, to me, and they say they weren't able to. I don't know if they use the words that it didn't happen. They just weren't able to conclusively determine whether somebody was target practicing. Because for me,
they didn't even really bring that up in this doc, though, either.
Well, they do go into it a little bit. I mean, my question is,
but
it's somebody that just owns and carries guns around, and Frances Fisher tells that story, and I don't know, I'd be interested to see the full interview, but she's like, she comes with like arms of fucking guns to show Alec.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that just seems to me like, why else would you have a live gun on a movie set but to maybe do target practice? I mean, it really doesn't make any sense how somebody would be walking around with that. But I realize it's a Western. You're out, in the country essentially shooting this.
New Mexico.
It just feels like there is somebody out there who did bring a gun probably to fuck around and just, I don't know, lost. I don't know how you lose track of a gun. I'll be honest. Like,
I honestly think it's more likely those bullets got mixed in from home. She grabbed a box of her dad's bullets, and they had a little of both in there. I mean, because here's my thing: if someone was shooting, someone would have snitched. Someone would have been like, "We saw so and so."
If it's a group, yeah.
But I mean, okay, and if not, and someone's just out there shooting, the gunshots are gonna. Someone's gonna be like, "Who the fuck? Why is someone shooting?" You know what I mean? Like, that's gonna draw attention.
It depends where they were doing this. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, you'd have to go very far out for it not to be heard. And Brian brings up like Gunsmoke. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of those guys, all probably had guns, and they never wound up on a set. It's. Yeah, I don't know. The six bullets. I don't have any conspiracy theory attached to it because, like, how would that make any sense? The only conspiracy theory, if you want to call it that, is that, somebody was fucking around on set. I can't come up with any other reason.
Yeah, I go with they came with her.
Dummy bullets. Dummy bullets are not going to be mixed with real bullets.
They were, though. They were all over the set.
Well, not all. There were 6 that they found.
They were mixed in with regular. So it's just, when did they get mixed in?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, Dan. Here's the problem with your theory. If someone was out there shooting guns, why would those bullets get mixed in with the dummy bullets? Why would those bullets be anywhere near that?
They mixed in, or they just found them? I don't know
some were mixed in, some were found. It was a combination. So that's where my problem with the someone shooting theory, because how would they get mixed in? Like, why, if someone was trying to hide themselves out there shooting on set, unless it was Hannah herself.
Yeah.
That's the only person that, like, if she was there and she was the one shooting, then the bullets would make sense. They could get mixed in, like, easily.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's what was happening. It doesn't seem like she had time to, with being overworked and stuff. So I don't know. it's one of those, like, there's a few theories, like yours, mine. There's, I don't know how many other ones. Someone putting him there is the only other, the third option. Yeah, practical joke. Brian said, like, what?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a practical joke that ends pretty bad. I mean,
but I mean, there's three ways they got there, basically, and I think that's all of them. It was someone intentionally putting there, someone who came shooting and they got mixed in, or they got mixed in before they came to set. That there's really no other. That's it. Those are the three ways they got there.
how did you feel like, because even the cop, the on the scene officer that interviews everybody, I believe it was him. I'd have to go back, but I'm well, actually, no, I know it was him. Where he said it's like the Hannah girl was obviously hiding something. Like she knew something. Like he does make that comment, and she does kind of come off as, well, I'm fucked now kind of deal. Like, like bothered, which is not a good way to come off. But
yeah, like what was her immediate reaction to? I can't remember now, but it was
I'm
just
in trouble.
Yeah, she was like,
you know.
yeah. But I mean, all we know, she thought it was just another misfire at that point.
No, I think she knew that that something. I mean, obviously, she knew something had happened. Cops don't come on.
No. I meant like her initial reaction, like when she was like, "Oh no," because there's the reaction like right after too, pretty much.
Yeah, not everybody. I'm not like trying to say like not everybody like wails and goes into tears.
Well, and then there's also at one point someone gives them a little bit of hope and tells her, "Oh no, Helena's going to make it."
Yeah,
was it one of the EMTs or someone? But
somebody
they said
something. I mean, because you see the chaos.
But they said the bullet went through her, like literally.
Yeah, it went through her and into the director, which is.
Well, I mean, when I say through her, I don't mean like through the shoulder. I mean like through her body at an angle. Like that's hitting multiple organs inside.
I mean, they talk about her saying like, "I can't feel my legs," was like her initial like response, and it I don't know, maybe it's the card player in me. I did get a little bit of my bullshit sensor going off with her, but
with
Hannah. Yeah.
I get that. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. Like I said, like I'm saying, I don't like blame her. Like it's not just her. Now, if she brought the bullets on the set and she was the one shooting, then it's all her. Like that changes my opinion on.
Oh no, that I would say like big ass.
But right now, I think it's a bunch of things that led to the tragedy. I don't think it falls on one person's shoulders. Now, does it fall mostly on hers? Absolutely.
But you don't. So you're like basically no responsibility to Baldwin.
No, I don't think so. He was given a movie prop in his eyes.
Yeah. I guess it's just again that gun etiquette, like
which
you
he didn't get
around with it. Whether
he didn't get the full feel, the full instructions. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. There's a lot on this that could have been prevented by people doing their jobs.
Yeah.
And if Alec Baldwin and the other people on set weren't properly trained in gun etiquette, I mean, it's not like Alec Baldwin was in fucking Terminator and a big action star. I mean, he handled someone like The Marrying Man, but I mean, it's not as, Schwarzenegger's not going to screw around with the gun. He's going to know better. Like, you get what I'm saying with that?
I think the real answer to this, and I know like there's political issues with it, they really need like an official kind of NRA type person there where the gun stuff is.
I don't think it's a good idea to give NRA any more power, especially in movies. It needs to be an independent thing.
You have to have somebody though that is like, nepotism you can't have when it comes to that job. Like that you just can't.
It was corners cut by producer. There was a lot going. Like, yes, okay, if she was on a movie and she was the armor, and maybe it had one gunfight, one shootout, but she's doing a fucking western. There is a bigger responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
So, like I said, but all these things, but her hiring falls on the fucking producers.
it does. No, and the producers deserve to have the shit suit out of them, including Baldwin, because he is still
See, on the
financially
producer side,
responsible.
and I'll give you that, but I'm saying I
Yeah.
don't think he should have went to jail.
No, I agree. I don't think there
See
was
that
anything
I'm
there.
with JJ on this one. What makes you think the NRA is going to do much good? I and
You're
again, I don't want to make it.
probably gonna get somebody who's a
They're
lot
just about
more.
gun rights, Dan. They don't give a fuck about. I'm sure
Again, I'm just looking at it as somebody that
that's
really.
just picking like fucking Coca-Cola if you want a soft drink. I
Well,
wouldn't give it to that power to the NRA.
there has to be like a standard there.
That's
that-
like the MPA, Dan. You don't want them involved anyway. So
I don't know. I just throw that out there. I'm not
okay.
somebody. You got to really have somebody though that has lived and operated guns for a long time. 24 is probably just too young to have that job. I mean, that's just, I don't know what number you put on it. I know 24 is still an adult, but I don't know. It's like you said, everybody was kind of thinking the same thing when she rolled up with armfuls of guns like that. It's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I would have the same reaction. And that might be 100% prejudice. It's just like that. That doesn't look like the person that should be doing this. And it's a lot. I mean, like you said, it's a Western. It's a low budget Western. She's 24 years old. I mean, she's still an adult and she's still, I mean, I'm not crying any tears that she got 18 months. I mean, she'll be able to go on with her life.
I'm sure she's already out at this point. How long did she serve?
I'm not sure when she might still be in because I think the conviction.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, I don't know. 2021. Baldwin just got officially cleared.
I remember when the it came through. It's been a good 6 months.
Was it this year?
I think it was.
Okay, it might have been. Yeah, it might have been like the beginning of this year that Baldwin was clear, which I agree with 100%. Like I see, like something like that would wreck me.
Holy shit! Do you know how many executive producers are on this goddamn Russ movie? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. You want me to? I'll tell you how many there. Oh, fuck. There's probably 100 producers. I was only about halfway done.
I mean, basically all the proceeds to this go to her family. So that is one weird thing I've heard from some people. It's like, I refuse to see that movie. And I'm like, well, that's kind of dumb, seeing as this is going to set up her kids, hopefully, for the rest of their life.
This shines a light on how fucking stupid the internet is.
Yeah,
I mean, it really does. Like, everyone's fucking.
Well, I mean, we do the armchair detective stuff too. If I'm being fair, like we're all gonna.
No, you do. I try not to do what y'all fuckers do. What the fuck is? They took her name off the credits too. I can't find it. What is Hannah's fucking?
I noticed that. I went to look because I was like, which Nick Cage movie was it? I believe it was The Old Way. I think was.
What was it? What was her names? I want to look up.
Hannah Gutierrez.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Gutierrez Reed. There he is. And I forgot what I was looking up because I had to go through all those goddamn credits. Oh, she's out.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, fair is fair. She's got to live with that the rest of her life.
Yeah, no, she's still in there. She was found guilty March 2024. Wow, they're gonna make her.
Oh, she's still in jail. Okay, so
she has been denied release from prison pending appeal. I'm shocked that she's still in there. The fact that she's done a year at this point kind of surprises me that they haven't let her out. I'm not saying they should have. Just is surprising. but it's also not California.
Oh yeah.
It's New Mexico. Yeah, there's no way Alec Baldwin would have got convicted if that was in California. Anyway, he didn't in New Mexico, which I don't think he should have anywhere.
I think he was always going to, short of like something just bonkers that came out. Like, I don't think that, the only thing, like I said, that could have come out that could have fucked somebody is if they could have proven that you were target practicing, which would change my opinion on a lot of things, no matter what, if they could prove that, which I'm not saying they did, but yeah. I mean, Baldwin, worst case scenario, like, and he has to live with it too, is if he was fucking around with that gun unnecessarily. But I guess at the end of the day, you assume that there's bullets in that gun, even if you know
you should. But again,
it's not a toy. It's a a prop, but it's not a toy.
I agree with you, and that's where they should be. But that's not the way the set was ran. They weren't treated like deadly weapons.
Yeah, that's it's sad. I mean, again, it's about what seemed to be a very talented lady who's not going to be
beautiful shots in the picture. I mean, we don't know which are hers because like I know they use like every possible frame of hers they could, not cut it out. So everything that they shot. One thing I did notice, like, did they film all of Alec Baldwin's stuff? Because we have a lot of footage of them finishing the shooting of the film, but we don't really see him in that footage.
Maybe they were kind of wrapped, because I think a significant portion was done. I could be mistaken, but I want to say they had shot over half of it. And I think anybody watching this is familiar. Movies are not shot in sequence, so it would be common to try and get your main actor's stuff done quick,
right?
But I mean, he does star in this movie. This isn't a case of like Alec Baldwin is in it for 10 minutes. I mean,
right.
He's in a good chunk of the movie. So yeah, there are a few questions like that they don't answer, but I mean, this is also a celebration of her life. It's I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the documentary very much because, again, they caught so much of this. And
before the accident on the Rust set, a significant portion of the film had already been shot. So we don't have a percentage. I was trying to see if we got a percent, but
yeah, I knew it was a good chunk. Especially, they don't give you a lot of time on these. That is something too. They do talk about the current state of movies, and some of these guys that have worked on other low budget stuff. They're like we don't have enough money for anything. Like, everything now is like, you got to, this is ideally how much time you have. This is how much time you can do it if you really just grind, and then this is the amount of time that we expect it done. So,
all right. Just to confirm, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, sure, she did Rust. That was her last one. The Old Way, so it was that one. And she was the head armor on that. And Murder in Yellowstone City, she was an assistant to her dad on that one.
Okay.
What is the story? Do you know more? Did he just yell at her? What was the context? I don't know.
I think I don't know like the incident exactly, but it was something where he screamed at her. It's like, "You dumb fuck, you blew my fucking eardrums out," or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know the exact words that came out of his mouth.
Well, I just pulled it up. Rookie Rust armor once made Nicolas Cage storm after set after gun firing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cage, here, it's real quick, so. A furious Nick Cage stormed off the set of a film where Hannah Gutierrez Reed was in charge of weapons and ripped the rookie armorer for firing a gun without warning. Cast members said in a new report. Cage even walked off the set screaming at Gutierrez Reed after she fired a gun without warning for the second time in 3 days. The movie's key grip told the outlet. And this is the quote, "Make an announcement. You just blew my fucking eardrums out," Cage yelled before walking off in a rage.
And Nick Cage is not really known for like set outbursts, from what I understand. So, I mean, you would think eccentric guy, but like, I don't hear about Nick Cage going on Christian Bale level. Like,
and honestly, he wouldn't be getting hired if he was at this point in his career. They just like, he's too much of a headache, I think. Yeah. So, and hearing that, you know what? She probably was the one shooting practice. Because why would she randomly fire a fucking gun without warning? Makes no sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, even though 24 is an adult, maybe the modern 24-year-old just shouldn't have that job. I mean, again, fucked up. There's certain things that you could tell, like Francis Fisher was trying to be.
I think
but
now if this would have been Hunter Gutierrez Reed and it was her son, I don't think you'd have this issue.
No, I would. I just think that's too young. I think you kind of hate to say it, like you want that, like that older, not
well.
Old.
Here's the thing, like if it was her son, he would be the second generation, and it wouldn't be as looked upon the same. But I think like the problem is this isn't really a profession that it's gonna be one that's fathers taught to their children, because it's the old cowboys that are left doing it. I mean, they're all just aging out, and it's a profession you're not going to see like really anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're on the verge of God only fucking knows where the AI thing is going to take us.
Well, we're going to get to the big question, the Quentin Tarantino argument. I think we should rate this because I'm going to expand our discussion a little.
Oh, the doc is 5 stars.
Yeah, I was going to say the doc is a 5-star
because it gives you the true crime aspect. You get a really good glimpse into how a lower budget, not low budget, but how a movie like this, a modest budget, operates in 2025. I was fascinated. I really genuinely like this because I'll be honest, going in, I wasn't too sure. I thought like this might just be one of these.
I was 5 minutes in. I was like, Dan, we changed the whole fucking program up.
Yeah, you pulled this from the Wednesday show, and like, yeah, it was like, yeah, we need to do this separate.
And you got your interaction.
Tarantino question. I'm sorry.
Okay. What are your California first date? No more live guns.
Okay.
Do you think that's the way to go? The Tarantino argument is you can tell.
You can.
He's right.
He is 100% right.
And but is the risk worth the reward? In this case, absolutely not.
Well, yeah,
no one should die on the set.
Obviously that, but like you could also apply that then like, well, is there any reason for a stuntman to
Well,
fall?
they've played that down a lot.
Stuntmen have died doing
that.
I mean, there is a certain point like where you're taking upon this risk. Now, the different situation, because there should be no scenario where a fucking, director or cinematographer or whatever gets shot. Like that's just fucking.
I wonder if that's why Quentin's like, fuck this, I'm done making movies. I can't make movies in California with real guns. I'm done.
I don't disagree. I notice, and it does affect my enjoyment of a movie.
And it's not even just that you can see the CG muzzle blast. It's you can tell the weight and the kick and all that's not there.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I've seen movies that use the fake guns, and it's fine.
If you're a fucking B movie using a fake gun and throw the CGI flash, I'm not going to give you shit. But I can't see that in a big shootout and fucking.
And do you punish like a filmmaker who's doing things the right way for a series of dumbasses on a movie that did it the wrong way? It's like we need to ban this wrestling move because insert dumb fuck that was reckless and killed somebody.
I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut because I'm too close to people on that one.
Well, I get it, but it's the same argument. It's like, do you punish everybody else because one person is, or again, in this case, multiple people were stupid. I don't know. I don't think you should not be allowed to do it the old school way. I do think, again, you need, I know I'm being ageist here, but I don't think, I'm sure there are some 20 somethings that can do it, but I do feel like I want to see that like rugged looking motherfucker that's like obviously been around guns his entire life in charge of the guns. Not the 24-year-old who might go and like fuck around with it. Like that's just and I actually think a 24-year-old man is worse. So I don't think it's a gender thing. Because the 24-year-old guy will 100% like, oh, we're in between. Let's go shoot some cans over here. I've known those guys.
I see. The difference is, I think. See, I don't. I even with her, I don't get. Like her father had to have like put all like being an OG armor, like put all the gun safety into her. So it's just
maybe not. I mean, not everybody does that. I mean,
maybe. Well, you figured,
you know. Yeah. I mean, we all agree she wasn't qualified to do this job.
No, this was. So but again, could she have pulled it off without incident if she wasn't given a secondary job that was less important but more taxing to her time? Again, there's so many variables in this that like this shouldn't have happened, and there's like this. There's so many. The butterfly effect on this thing is spread so wide because so many little adjustments. This wouldn't be a non-issue.
There's some situations where I guess it's like you don't want to be the bad guy, but like if you're, a nurse prepping for a surgery and the new surgeon comes in and it's Michael J. Fox, it's like, well, I'm sorry, doctor, I'm not very comfortable with you.
I was trying to keep the program classy, and Dan's got to bring up Michael J. Fox trying to play Operation over here. The red nose is buzzing the whole time. Got it, Dan.
There are some situations where you might just have to say, no, it's not a good idea. Like she's walking in like this with a bunch of guns, and it's I don't know. That's my stance on it. I felt a little bit bad for Baldwin. I know a lot of people don't like him, and some of it's just political shit, and some of it's like, he had the rant.
Oh yeah, Trump was like, send his ass to jail. Well, I wonder why. Maybe all those impressions he was doing of him kind of bittered him on it.
Yeah, and there's been all the memes, the Bullet Club memes, and everything that we've all seen, but I mean, I did feel bad for Baldwin. I mean, I know he had that screaming at his daughter incident and a lot of reasons that people don't like him, but I don't think he was bullshitting. I do think he was somebody that was like, crushed by.
Yeah, like when they tell him, that's heartbreaking. Like I felt so bad for him.
Yeah. So, yep, it's sad. I hope the family's taken care of going forward. And I think this is a good, it does a lot of things. It's a good Hollywood doc. It's a good, portrait of what seemed to be a very nice lady. And
it's unfortunate. I feel bad. And I'm glad, she made a beautiful film before that people get to see.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think you should be forced to do. That's a controversial opinion, I guess, but I don't think you should be forced to do the CG.
Yeah. I'm with you. And I know Big Crack Rock said they make BB guns with blowback slides that look just like the real guns they're modeled after. See, that would help. The one thing that I noticed, and that's that there's no kick to them. Yeah. So, I mean, there's ways to do it. And I think if they make specially designed guns that are not just we're using regular guns with blanks, maybe that's a workaround. I mean, or just get fucking people who know how to do their job. And yeah, if they would have hired the second guy the first time, there again, so many variables, and I don't like to throw anyone under the bus. But I did say we're going to bring up some other stuff, and JG brought up The Crow, and go ahead and read that one.
Do you think it's similar to The Crow, or at least Berryman's interpretation of what happened and why? So
What
the
is do you
crow was not like a live round, right? Like that's like the thing. It was like, and
something
I'm not
lodged in the
enough
barrel?
of a gun expert to tell you break that down, but it was like
Something in the barrel that acted like a projectile
that
that
acted.
the
Yeah,
blank pushed out.
Brandon didn't get hit by like a live bullet, is what
No,
I'm
he
saying. So it's
something
a
was
little bit.
lodged in the barrel that acted like a live bullet
Yeah.
when with all the pressure, because it's still all the pressure without the
Oh yeah. Yeah.
bullet, without the round.
Yeah.
Um, what would I do? What would you remember Berryman's? What was his interpretation?
I don't remember Berryman's exact words on that. I mean, of course, he was
JG, if you have it, type it up.
famous
Um,
for having his scenes cut in that
yeah,
movie. Um, I
great
did,
pictures if you've seen them.
yeah.
Look
I've
great.
actually met Michael Massey, which was interesting. You could still see that he was reeling from it. Berryman said it was the studio cutting costs and offloading the work onto local yokels rather than professionals. I mean, that can factor into it too. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
yeah, I
Which,
couldn't exactly what he said.
which Shutter doc series? I know they got a few docs. He said
Cursed,
that's what come.
cursed films, I'm sure he's talking about.
Oh, okay. Did we watch The Crow? It's been a while. I know we did.
Yeah, I don't know if we reviewed all of those. There were a few of the cursed films episodes where it's like this is just all very known.
I think we did, but we grouped them up, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. But yeah, it's been a while, but okay. But yeah, no, yeah, same. Not necessarily local yokels, but um, inexperienced, below cost first
Yeah,
timers.
it
That they, yeah,
it's not one of the jobs that you should be. There's ways you can cut costs that might affect quality, but it's not going to get somebody killed. Like you can't do that with your armorer. And I don't know. Frances Fisher said it herself, and she's like, "I wish I had said something because I
yeah.
saw her. I had major concerns, and I didn't. I did. I should have just spoken up." She said, "I should have just gone, said like this girl should not be in charge of this shit." And I think there's a lot of people on the movie that said that, actors included, that like they should have probably have just made a bigger thing of it, and she would have
Do,
been
do,
removed.
okay, I'm going to see if you know this. Okay, do you know how many people have died from gunshots in the history of motion pictures? Yeah, if you had a guess.
Now we're just obviously talking accidents, not
No,
any
yeah.
like not like somebody got shot in their trailer by a jealous ex or something crazy.
That's a good question. I don't know my number. Have died
Seven,
on American film sets. How
7.
many?
Well,
7?
wait,
Okay.
by gunfire, right? Like more stuntmen have died, obviously.
See, this doesn't fish. Oh, you're right.
If you're okay, if it's just gunfire, I'd say that's very small.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Well, it's
there
telling me
stuntmen
that
have died for sure recently too.
um this list is telling me this is something else. At least 43 people have died on American film sets since 1990 due to accidents. That one's not gun.
Yeah, that can be anything from a light falling on you or getting electrocuted by something. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can die on a film set. I'm gonna say like, but like a gun, like it's Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee. I
Oh,
know
wait,
there's another one before.
I
Okay, here we
want
go.
to say there is at least one more.
Before that, 1984, actor John Eric Hexum was killed on the set of TV series Cover Up. Helium accidentally shot himself in the head with a gun loaded with blanks.
Oh wow, okay.
So he was playing around and put it to his. Oh man, can I do that? Did I have to blur
No,
me now? Do I got to blur that now? Dan's typing me the time. Thank you.
thank you.
So now you know what that blur's for. um.
Mm.
Um. Now, how do I? Jesus, goddamn, fucking children.
Fucking
Can't.
around with the
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm trying to see what else. Okay. Cover Up. Yeah, that's all the ones I got listed here. I'm trying to see if there's any.
Is it only 3? Because yeah, that's very. I knew there was at least one other that I couldn't come up with.
Yeah, and that's so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that.
So why? I guess the joke was on him. It. Yeah, that doesn't seem like that seems like a bit of an overreaction. I mean, I'm not to get political, but we're banning them all for that. But how many
It's not an epidemic.
school shootings happen? And those are guns are, yeah. It's kind of a weird thing. Like, okay, no more guns on movie sets because 3 people died in 100 fucking plus years. Seems a bit overreaction. No more.
Yeah. Well, nothing has gone through, I guess, either. I mean, it's weird because nobody shoots in California now. So it's like, does that really?
It affects Quentin, so he's very vocal about it.
I get it. I think Quentin Tarantino, though, is not just that. I think there's a lot of different reasons.
I'm sure, but that doesn't help.
I mean, he can go shoot a fucking movie anywhere. So, yeah. I think it's a lot of different things. Maybe it's honestly also just fear that he set it up as his last movie and he's just worried like it won't be as beloved. You know, you want to go out on top, so he's probably like that pressure of I've got to eclipse everything else I've done.
I think Once Upon in Hollywood's the perfect swan song, so I'm fine if that's all we get.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously I'd want more, but I think it's a really good. It's a movie about Hollywood. It's it's a perfect ending.
I'm a little disappointed he's not doing the last one. I don't know. Sometimes you got to your last match, to use a wrestling term, is sometimes it's just your last match. You don't always get to go out like a superhero.
I get it. His reasoning. I mean, the way cinema is now, he got one more big one in. I mean, his biggest film to date. So the bar's been raised even higher now after that too.
Yeah. Yeah. You think he's going to farm off like some of his other stuff? Like, is somebody else going to do a follow-up to Kill Bill or
I think he'll make the pivot. See, but he wants his movies seen. That's the thing. But he has toyed with the idea of doing some television. So I think that's the way you do Kill Bill, the final installment of it.
Yeah, I feel like make your Shogun or something. Like, you've got options. It would be sad to see him not make a movie, but I think he would probably make a kick-ass miniseries or TV show. Mm-hmm. So we will see. Well, Todd, I think we've covered pretty much all angles here. So unless somebody has,
I mean, I was going to bring up the other big one.
For it.
The Twilight Zone, the movie is probably the biggest, and up until now, the most famous film set tragedy. Not obviously not a live round, but
that is though colossal stupidity. Like, I'll be honest, and I mean, I'm not like I won't watch his movies kind of guy. I like John Landis's movies. John Landis should have done prison time.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, Landis should have gotten the kibosh.
But he was a white man in Hollywood, and the trial was in California. He wasn't doing no time.
No, he was always going to have a strong advantage. But like, yeah, if the world were fair, I think Landis should have done some. How much, I don't know. I mean, his whole
there's the argument.
He made it worse immediately after with that whole they died for art kind of comment that he made, which was like, oh my God, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sure they'd much rather be alive and this movie not exist. But
and the fact that they still use the segments and it's so awkward to watch because it's obviously not completed. He doesn't get his redemption. He's like a racist who just survives. It totally doesn't make any sense the way it's done. Honestly, that's when you just say, all right, why don't we just, and I don't know if it was a case of the Morrow family wanting it in there because they didn't even want the movie released.
We remember though, you didn't have Twitter at that point. So it's not like,
And JG brings up the again, read the book Fly By Night. by Steve Chain. The Twilight Zone case is nuts. Yeah, I still have the True Hollywood Story where it's all the trial recreation. That's just it's funny for all the wrong reasons. I mean, but like the recreations.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember I followed that one quite. I remember the footage of the tragedy was on Death Scenes too. That was the first time I ever saw it. Like
It's wild to think how close he was.
Yeah.
To, I mean, like, it just happened, like, not at his feet, but like damn near. Like, I mean, it's right there. I mean, I can't imagine the fucking horror. I mean, with Rust, I mean, we're seeing, not the incident, but the immediate after.
We're seeing everything leading up to it, though.
Yeah. The Twilight, like, I cannot imagine the horror of that situation, like having to go and like see the bodies and like all of that. Like, that had to be awful. So yeah, but yeah,
maybe next time you're in California,
fuck John Landis.
Yeah,
like,
maybe next time you're in California, we'll go to the scene of the tragedy.
Yeah, we didn't do that. I know that came up, but we never did do that, did we? Yeah, we'll have to hit some more locations on the next.
Say some offensive things about John Landis. Well, his punishment, he made the stupids.
Ooh, that was awful. That was like one of those borderline I want to leave the theater kind of movies. That was bad.
Yeah. Ugh. But the man made Thriller video, so I still give him props for that.
You know what though? Like, it affected
American Werewolf in London too.
Well, that was before, but it affected his career. But that wasn't the last big movie he did.
No.
Like, it didn't kill his career. I mean, I think it always haunted him, and I do think there's a lot of projects that never ended up being because of that, but he still continued to make some big movies after that. So Twilight Zone is a classic series. They should leave it alone. I agree at this point. Like,
I loved the 80s series though.
Well, that's damn good compared to the last one.
Oh, yeah. I still remember watching an episode with my grandma, and she was like, they were definitely on cocaine when they wrote this. And I think that's the first time I've ever heard my grandma talk about drugs. So it was pretty funny. And I can if I watch the show, I'll be like, this is the episode. I haven't watched the 80s one in a while. Also got some love for that 80s Alfred Hitchcock Presents too. Oh yeah, he didn't get Toby Hoopered. Damn.
No. Yeah, no, it's
yes, he is. Even though, do they still have the Twilight Zone ride at Disney World?
No, it became a Guardians of the
Galaxy. I know it did here, but I thought it's still. No, it can't be. It can't be there because that's Marvel, and Universal has Marvel rights on the.
I don't think it's Twilight Zone anymore.
I'm pretty sure it still is there, and here
I would hope so.
I think they got to keep it. Theirs is actually the original.
Twilight Zone is one thing that even younger fans still watch. Like, that show has managed to make new fans over the years.
Well, it's so good. I mean, I know I haven't watched it in quite a while, and it feels like time to throw on the Blu-ray, or I think it's streaming on Paramount too. Yeah, is it still open? I'm looking up the Tower of Terror. I'm pretty sure the Florida one is. No, Disneyland, no. Walt Disney World. Let's find out. Dan could be talking while I'm searching and not just leaving dead air. But
I was waiting. I thought you were.
Well, I was searching. Okay, found it. Yes, it's still open at Walt Disney World.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah, I thought it was because that's one of their original. I know they're pulling out off topic. They're pulling out. I believe it's Tom Sawyer Island there.
Do you think? I mean, I don't know. This is like a whole other topic, but do you think, like, because Disney parks have been suffering, like, do you think like there's any scenario where they get knocked off their?
No, they're Disney.
It
depends what you go like. For me, no. Like, Disneyland is it's different than like going to ride roller coasters.
I'm just talking like we're not going to think of them as like the number one anymore.
It depends. I don't know. Is Universal going to take it?
They could.
I don't see it. Especially California's is half-assed. Like here, it's not a competition. The California one, they should have stayed with the focus on film. Yeah, Dan does just want Disney to suffer. I get that, but I mean, it's literally what all theme parks want to be. So
it's just interesting. I mean, there's just been a lot of lost money lately, and I just kind of wonder. Like, honestly, like, there's some kids now that they don't want to do anything. Like, they just want to look at their phone. I don't know if that will, I don't know. Another interesting, and I don't know who was talking about this or if it was a podcast or what, but a conversation came up recently. Will they ever replace Mickey as the mascot?
No.
You don't think that, like,
No.
you know what, isn't Stitch or something like that more relevant today than Mickey?
No, he's the face of Disney. They'll never.
I disagree with you on that. I would not be shocked.
Well, you can be wrong, Dan, but that's okay.
If something hits hard enough,
no, it won't. They're not going to. That is one of the stupidest things you've ever thought, Dan. That Disney would change their icon for Mickey Mouse. Hard-hearted.
I am standing by it.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I don't know if we'll find out anytime soon, but I could absolutely see them replacing Mickey.
They don't pump everything they have into it. They should just give him a more masculine voice. That wouldn't be very Disney if they did now.
We have him like voiced by Morgan Freeman. That would be funny.
But since we went off topic with Dan just to hate Disney at the end, we'll get back to it. Horrible tragedy. Real bullets should never be on a set. Both of these films we talked about tonight are well worth checking out. Like, Last Take's a must watch, even if you don't have any urge to watch Rust. Mm-hmm. But Rush was a fantastic Western, and you should definitely give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And R.I.P. to Helena, because you shouldn't have lost your life, but your work was beautiful. So.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, there is a lot of downvoting on Rust, but I think people should think, like, you're not really hurting Alec Baldwin, if that's who you have beef with at this point, by doing that. Like, that's her work. Try and judge it for what it is. I can totally understand if you don't want to sit through the movie, but yeah, give it a look. All right, Ted. So we'll be back here on Sunday.
We'll be back here Sunday for SES, followed by Monday. I think Monday we have Super Fun Moms. Ozzy's definitely going to want to watch that for Mother's Day. And then we're back Wednesday with another Flesh Moon Horror. God.
Well, we have more of that coming too, so it's a lot of stuff.
Yes, we do. We have another episode coming up soon. And we have some Babezilla action coming up too. You'll definitely want to check that one out.
Titties.
Well, not in our episode, but
not in our episode, but definitely.
Maybe I'll make a special Patreon one with some clips of the movie. 1 minute and 33 seconds. You'll understand the significance of that when you watch our Babezilla episode.
You should also listen to the Wednesday, sometimes Thursday live show, or Tuesday live show, where now you've got the edited version. So if you're a patron and we go off the rails live and you didn't listen live, listen live, because we got pretty crazy last night, didn't we?
Yeah,
would you have to cut just the last 10 minutes?
No, there's 30 minutes. You get all the tasty big boy information and on. Yeah, basically I cut all the fat. It starts pretty good, but then Dan goes too tasty and
very tasty, very tasty. So I guess that's all we got for this evening. We will see you back here next time. Catch me on Region Free on the 13th, which I believe is Tuesday, on Visited by Voices Network. good night.
Money's on the dresser.